Hey everybody, it's Kyle. This is the second video of the day because I just had a conversation with a family who has a problem with belief. And you may have thought this yourself. You know, it's hard to believe that I can thrive because there's so much chaos. And, you know, as I talk to this family, I start to realize that a lot of us go through this, right? Our mind works in these groups of three, and I'll share with you what I mean here. You know, when something happens once, then that's once. When something happens twice, then we think that's a lot. And somehow in our brains we think when something happens 3 times, it happens all the time. Even though that's not true at all, we go from once to lots to all the time. And I think what happens to a lot of families is when they're going up and down on this autism roller coaster, you know, there's a good time and a bad time. And the bad time, the chaos is so disruptive and so stressful and sometimes so difficult and painful that it has this deeper impact. Almost like you dig a little bit of a well and it really impacts you heavily. And then you have these high highs and you're already kind of a little underground, maybe a foot or two underground in your little hole, and it really doesn't lift you out of that hole completely. And then, you know, another meltdown or another difficult experience or dealing with professionals or teachers or schools happens, and that hole gets a little deeper, and that impact is so powerful again that we start to dig these holes for ourselves of disbelief. We start to have this idea that somehow we can't thrive, that the days of having happiness and joy in our home aren't a common thing because the difficulties are so impactful and heavy. And, you know, as I talked with this family, I started to realize what was happening. And, you know, they just don't believe that they can thrive in the chaos. And as we walked through the process and we talked about some things specifically that they could do today, and the very next time these things happen, you could almost see them just filling that hole up as we talked. And it was really exciting for me to watch that hole get full and full and full until they were back on the surface. And, you know, at the end of the conversation, it really struck me. And I asked them how they were feeling. And the belief was back. And it was strong. And it was a powerful feeling. You could see it in them. You could see that they now were back on level ground. And it started to make me realize how the damage we do to ourselves when we start digging that hole. It doesn't always happen. They don't have meltdowns every day. Horrible things in our lives aren't the dominant thing, but we make them the dominant thing sometimes. So, you know, it was exciting to me to see them on level ground and almost floating because now they knew that they could thrive. They knew that based on what we had talked about, they could manage their problems in a way that allowed them to have success and feel great about their success. And it was just kind of overwhelming for me to see that happen and to understand that, you know, it wasn't me. And that's really the cool part. You know, I talked to them and I gave them information, but they were the ones that filled that hole up. They were the ones that started to build a platform for themselves. Just because I gave them a shovel or whatever it was I did, I don't really even know, but I don't want to take any credit for it because I don't want to take credit for it when you do it. You know, I get people that message me all the time and say, I watched your video and I was uplifted. And I think to myself, no, you were uplifted because you uplifted yourself. That the information is the information. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with your ability to fill that hole and start to realize that you can. with the right attitude and with the right tools and techniques, you can start to thrive. It's not about me. It's about you believing and you starting to understand that you can do it. It's a huge part of what we do for families. You know, we thrive because we believe we're going to thrive. Our kids have meltdowns. We have difficulties in our lives. We have circumstances where my wife and I don't get along perfectly. But we believe so strongly that it just doesn't matter. The things in our lives that go wrong and the problems that we have such a belief as a family because we've had proven success that we're capable of getting back that joy and that happiness. And I want you to know, if you don't believe it, schedule a time to call me. Talk with me. You know, I've talked to so many people. One that comes to mind is Susan Bradbury, who we got on the phone for 20 or 30 minutes. And since then, I mean, we've had tremendous amounts of conversations in messages, and she's on this high, and I don't even know why. And I think it's because she now believes she's filled that hole, and she has this belief that she can thrive. I want to give that to you. You can do it. And there's things you can do. If you want to know what you can do, let me know. Schedule a time to talk to me. I'll put a little link on this video that will allow you to schedule a time to talk to me, and let's get you that belief back. Because if you don't believe you can, I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong. We were in that situation as a family. I know how it feels to have lost faith that you can thrive as a family, that you can have an overwhelming amount of happiness and joy, but you can. And I want to help you get that. Let me help. Tell me what I can do. Have a great day. Man, get up. Fill the hole. And let's get on the upside of this happiness we're looking for. God bless you. I know you're working hard. Work doing the right things, and let's get you the happiness you and your family deserve, and your kids on the spectrum deserve. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.